Hi, this is Anime Short and Sweet. Today we will be covering the anime, The Reincarnation of the Strongest Exorcist in Another World. The story begins with Haruyoshi, the strongest diviner. As a man who killed strong demons, he explains how he thought if he acquired the power he desired, he would never again have to be concerned about losing everything. That all changed one night when one of his students was kidnapped, turning him into an enemy of the imperial court due to his unrestrained lust for power. The same prized pupil who had been stolen turned against him. He tells the young child that it wasn't their fault and starts working on a spell, vowing to do better the next time and to succeed in his goals. Soon after, we are transported to a different world where his father is evaluating his skill in several elements in order to demonstrate his powers. To his family's surprise, he is untalented in any of the arts. His brother starts making fun of him because of this. He reveals that despite having no mana, he was resurrected as Saikyou, the third son of the Lamprogues, a prominent house of magic academics in the Old White Empire. He explains, though he has no mana, his body is filled with the energy of curses. Soon after we observe the boy using leaves rather than paper since it is too expensive. He chants a magic spell and the leaves transform into a shikigami. While some leaf shikigami transform into mice, others change into birds. When his older brother Gray interrupts and inquires as to what he is doing, Gray begins picking on him. But when the brother is requested to cease, the previous crows return and attack him. Luft asks if they are alright. Saikyou responds that he is fine and Luft helps his sibling to get inside. Saikyou explains that because he has released his shikigami, gathering information will be easier. He turned 7, but because he is an adopted child, there was no party to mark the occasion. Yet he doesn't mind because he has already learned a lot, and because his previous life had many similarities, he focuses on making the paper he uses for his shikigami. He thanks the servant girl for finding his coat in the bushes, but the maid, Effa, claims it was sheer luck. Gray interrupts the two, calling the girl a slave and asking why she isn't working. After she apologizes, Gray asks whether he was playing in the bushes once more, teasing him for not having any mana. Gray remarks that his life must be very simple and explains that he is attending the Magic Academy, that has produced many court magicians. Saikyou is intrigued by the school but is told by his brother that he will never go. His father interrupts by saying he is observing Gray and Luft's magic today. Saikyou asks if he could join them, and they begin showing their father their magic. Gray is skilled in fire, while Luft is skilled in wind. Gray mentions to Saikyou that since father is here to watch, he should try, but to his surprise, he casts a spell without an incantation, which releases a blue flame. The father starts out by stating that people who are born without mana have been known to utilize magic, and that the quality of the mana used is thought to affect the color of the flames. When Saikyou hears this, he requests to learn magic, saying that since there are no known cases of muggles becoming talented magicians, learning magic would be useless. But he promises to pay Saikyou a tutor this year so he can focus on that. Saikyou begins studying from books in the library while keeping an eye on his brother's training with his shikigami. Once again, the years pass, and he is now 11. He begins by explaining that in his past life he has exorcised demons and sealed them, which he uses in battle. He states that sending them sends them to the void, which is unlike another world. Since he doesn't know if this will work, he begins opening the door to summon the most well-behaved spirit, which is Kudajistun. The girl greets him as master and states she thought he would never see him again. She suggests that this might be a side effect of Saikyou's curse energy, or perhaps this world had an effect, as he starts to explain that in his previous existence, she was more of an elderly woman. He says both possibilities are conceivable but is glad he summoned her. She mentions to him she can do what he asks, but he says he has nothing for her to do. In hopes to not be sent back to the void, she changes and hides in his hair. He informs her that he is no longer Haruyoshi and that she should now address him as Saikyou. Soon after we see the slave who accidentally spilled a drink on Gray, getting his clothes wet. The maid apologizes, and Gray says that his father has been too kind to her because she hasn't learned her place. He suggests that she visit his room later that night so he can teach her all the ins and outs of her position. Saikyou overhears this and interrupts, requesting that the lecture be finished quickly because he has business with Effa. Due to his belief that Saikyou lacks the ability to ask respectfully, Gray tries to punch him, but Saikyou deflects him. Effa thanks Saikyou, and he explains she doesn't have to go to Gray's room. He agrees to accompany her outside after she asks if she may show him something. She guides him to a hurt carbuncle, which he heals without her noticing. She acknowledges that he is incredible and remarks that he can use magic just as effectively as his brothers despite lacking mana. He explains that she is also unique in that she has the ability to see things that others cannot. She becomes distressed upon hearing this, but he has often witnessed her using her eyes to track the souls of animals. She discovers out he can see them too, but he also tells her she can see more than just the spirits. Effa explains to him that her mother warned her before she died not to tell anybody about her special abilities or how the spirits assist her in finding things you might lose and how they frequently cluster around mana. But, When it comes to Saikyou, the spirits are drawn to his possessions but avoid Saikyou himself. He asks her whether she has the ability to command the spirits, and she admits that something similar happened once before, but it was an accident. Saikyou says he planned to locate a young person with the skill but didn't anticipate it would happen so quickly. When he asks whether she wants to learn magic, she replies that she would love to, but she doesn't have enough mana to use it. He assures her she doesn't need mana and summons a soul flame that resembles a spirit using his Shikigami. She tries to extinguish the flame, but she can only do so by yelling. Saikyou claims that although she is still weak, she is strong enough to be worth his friendship and training. Time passes and Saikyou is now 12. He gets interrupted by Gray, who mentions a bastard son like him can't run the family as he thinks mundane people shouldn't be researching magic, so he states the army is the only thing left for him. Thus, he says that he will instruct him. But Luft interrupts and points out that there are better ways to put it. Luft also says that they learned swordplay from the Knight Captain and that they believe they can instruct him if he so chooses. The group gets interrupted by a maid who mentions a large monster has appeared in town. They mention that Master went and drove it off with fire magic, but it fled into the forest, which leads a direct path to their house. Saikyou mentions to Luft that it is coming. The older Newt invades the property of the house. While Gray can be seen hiding, Luft orders the maids to lock the windows and urge everyone inside. Saikyou tries to aid Effa, but she has been saved by a flame that she controlled. Saikyou eliminates the older Newt using pyrethrum, which is harmless to people but poisonous to amphibians. Thanks for watching Anime Short and Sweet. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe down below to my channel. See you next time.